The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys Storyline with Nick Eatman.
What's up? It is Cowboys Storyline. It's Wednesday, November 22nd, getting closer and closer to tomorrow's Thanksgiving Day game against the Washington Commanders. That is right. Don't mess up the name. I'm sure I will at some point. That's why I just try to call them Washington. That's what they always have been, and that's what they'll be is Washington. So it's easier to do that. We got a full show for you today. Apologize for yesterday if those that logged on and got only half the show. We had a little technical issues there in the first half, so didn't get a chance to record that second part. It's too bad. There were some really funny moments in there, but it's okay. We'll do it today, and we'll get this thing rolling. So you guys know the drill, 888-855-2297. The text line is 817-290-3298. So one of our themes that we were talking about was favorite Thanksgiving Day games and memories and things like that. And I don't know if I gave mine yesterday or not. I don't think I did. So if we have time, we'll do that. But we want to just hear from you guys on whatever's on your mind. So let's just get it going here. James in New Jersey is our first caller. James, what's up?
Not much, my friend. I wanted to talk about the secondary number 2 and number 28 are not doing anything for me, to be honest with you. And I think we should give Kwame a chance in that slot area. That gives you the option of moving him and Bland back and forth depending on the matchups, number one. Number 30, you should have him on the field more often because he can make plays. And number 20, he hasn't made a play in 2 years. So I think we should probably even think about putting these kids on the field once in a while just to give a different look for the opposing offenses to kind of worry about other options that we have in the secondary since these two gentlemen are not making any plays and haven't made any plays. Even though they get paid a lot of money, we understand why they want to keep on the field, but if they're not going to make any plays, the kids should get a shot. My main reason for calling, the tush push. I'm 15 minutes out of Philadelphia. I hear the crap every year, though. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they're not going to stop that play until somebody makes them stop that play. It's impossible to stop. They're always going to get the 2 yards. So if they're going to get the first down anyway, you have your 3 interior linemen and your middle linebacker. As soon as the center goes to touch the ball, you push him right over on top of the quarterback. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's offsides. They're going to get the first down anyway, but they're not going to stop that play until somebody makes them, and that play changes every single game because they get extra possessions from that game. From that play every single game. They must stop it, okay? It is not rugby, it's football. There was a rule years ago when you couldn't help people all over the field like that. I have no idea whether the rule was changed. We never heard about it being changed. I don't know whether you ever did, but it's ridiculous, okay? It is absolutely ridiculous. It is not football, it's rugby.
All right. Thanks for the call, James. That's impressive. You had a lot of things to say, and I don't think you mentioned one player's name at all. Not everybody has a roster, so throwing out numbers and stuff like that, I'll paraphrase. You don't think Malik Hooker's made a play or Jordan Lewis, and you want Wanye Thomas and Mukwamu. I think you did say Mukwamu's name. But I don't agree with that necessarily. My safety doesn't have to make a play all the time. That's not what my deep safety doesn't have to make a play. What I want him to do is not give up a play. That's what I think his role is. You got guys making plays at the front. You got guys making sacks. You got corners that are getting interceptions, some to score touchdowns, some to win the game like Gilmore did. Malik Hooker's job is to make sure that he plays center field and the ball doesn't go over his head for a home run. That's what he's got to do back there. Making play. He has made a play, made an interception, made a nice play, I think, this year. An interception where he was on a different side of the field and went over. If I remember, maybe I have my years mixed up. But that's the main job for him is to, as a safety, get these guys lined up and making sure that everything stays in front and there's no busts, there's no breakdowns. So I will disagree there, and I agree with you on the tush push. I think it's ridiculous. I don't think it's football. I've said it before. They call people for leveraging on a kickoff. You can't jump on someone's back to be taller. I don't know why you can push someone in the back to be stronger. That's the way it looks like for me. But every team in the league can do it. Not everybody has a center like Jason Kelce and a quarterback like Jalen Hurts. It works for their personnel. Doesn't work for every team. Doesn't really work for the Cowboys. So it doesn't work for other teams. You can do it though, but I do think the league will step in here at some point. I really believe that. All right, Shelby in Virginia is our next caller. Shelby.
Hey Nick, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing great. I'm here with my dad. We've both been.
Hey, Dad.
Hey. Hey, Nick. We've both been reading and listening to you for well over a decade. I don't have a question. I'll give my random player and then hand it over to my dad.
All
my
right.
random player is Danny Cole.
Danny Cole, Virginia Tech. Wow. Good times. Yeah. I don't know if he ever played. I think he was on the team, but I don't know if he ever caught a pass or in Danny Cole. That's right.
Yeah, a little fringe. Yeah, I don't know if he made the roster, but I'll hand it over to Dad.
Okay.
Hey Nick, first-time caller. I've been wanting to call for years, but I can't put. Oh, nice.
There it is.
There you go.
But I have like a laundry list of things I'll try to catch up on. So, favorite player, Bill Bates. I have one quick story about Bill Bates. I had a chance to meet him after the '90 Super Bowl, and after an interview show he was on, and I went up to him and I said, I'd like to see his ring. And I thought he would just hold his hand out and show it to me. He took it off and handed it.
Yeah.
And let me look at it. It could have been a utility belt for me. It was that big.
Yeah.
But great guy, great opportunity. And I'm happy to do that. Great player.
Yeah. That's awesome.
My random player is somebody who was great whenever he got on the field, but unfortunately couldn't get on the field much. And that was Rolando McClain.
Yeah. Wow. Yep. He was special. I mean, he was a freak player. He really was. I mean, just how big he was, but he was kind of slender, but he was really big, and then he hit hard. Yeah, he was. Yeah, it's unfortunate that his career didn't turn out a little bit better because he was definitely a great player.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just a couple of quick things here too. I wanted to ask a quick question about. Dang it! I'm sorry. I'm driving at the same time.
Yeah, be careful. Be careful. Yeah. And what is your name? What is your name again?
My name's Blair.
Your name's Blair. Okay, we got Shelby and Blair. I'm counting this as 2 calls. I think this is 2 because we're one of the first-time caller. So yeah.
Well, I tell you, it means a lot to us because up in Virginia, we had so much coverage, even back in the 90s. We had a lot of fans up here, but it was always hard to get, good reporting and good news. And,
yeah.
And we would listen to you and Derek and Josh Ellis and even Mickey Spagnola and the whole crew. It's always such an encouragement.
Wow. I tell you what, the most underrated state of Cowboy fans has always been Virginia. And yesterday, Virginia won on the most calls for each state. It was from Virginia. There's just a ton of fans, and I don't know exactly why. I don't know if it's just rebellious fans. That's why I'm not pulling for my dad's team in Washington. I'm pulling for the Cowboys. I don't know, but there's just a ton of Cowboy fans in Virginia.
And it's interesting, too, because we are multi-generational, because obviously Shelby is a fan, in part because I'm a fan, and I became a fan at the Super Bowl in '79 where Jackie Smith dropped the touchdown pass. I didn't even know much about football, but my dad was watching the game, and he was so distraught. And I asked him what was wrong, and he just looked at me, and he was like, the Cowboys just lost the Super Bowl. And I said, Dad, why do you like the Cowboys? And he said he became a pastor late in life, and he loved Roger Staubach because he was kind of open about his faith and everything. And so he said that's why he loved the Cowboys. And he said So I love the Cowboys. I love Roger Staubach, and they are America's team. And from that point on, I couldn't like any other team. I can't explain it.
And I'll say it again. It chooses you. You didn't choose to be the Cowboys. It chose you. And that's awesome.
Absolutely. And I have other kids, and I hopefully they'll never hear this, but I gave them every opportunity to be Cowboy fans, and they're just it didn't catch like with Shelby. So I'm very grateful to at least pass on that one tradition. Yeah.
Well, I have an 8-year-old son too, and he knows Dak and he knows maybe Micah Parsons, but he's not really into it. So that's okay. Maybe he will over time. Maybe it would help if I actually got to sit and watch games with them, but I haven't been able to do that, which is good and bad, I guess. So all right.
Thanks so much. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, guys.
There. All the best.
See you guys. That's 2 callers right there. 2 callers, Shelby and Blair in Virginia. So Virginia takes the lead again. All right, this is awesome. Keep rolling here. Let's go, Rod in El Dorado, Kansas. Rod.
Yes.
How you doing, man?
Yes. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. What's up?
Hey, well, I'm calling back. Feeling better today than the first time I called you, so I wanted to just chime in on a couple things. First, my Thanksgiving Day game memory.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of memorable games, but as a kid, I remember that in the late 70s, early 80s, Cowboys played the Oilers on a couple of Thanksgiving Day games. One of them in particular sticks in my mind. I believe it was 78 or 79 when they played, and Earl Campbell just went off on the Cowboys. 100, I want to say 180 yards. I mean, just ridiculous.
Well,
and
here's what I know about that game. Wade Phillips was like a defensive coordinator for his dad, Bum Phillips, or he was on the staff at least. And he talked about that game. It felt like about 5 or 6 times when he was the head coach here. Always talked about, Earl Campbell came up there in 1980. It was 1980, I believe, when that happened. So, Yep. Again,
well,
you guys always talk about losses. Any wins? Anybody excited about a win? Any memorable wins?
Well, yeah. And what the other thing that sticks out about that game is what he said after. Bum said afterwards. He said if the Cowboys are America's team, then the Oilers must be Texas's team. I'll have to go back and check exactly if it was referenced to that game or not, but that just sticks in my mind. Particularly, I was in a room full of relatives from Texas that just
and then
they weren't Cowboys,
and then they moved. That was 1979.
Yeah, 79. Okay. Well, the second thing I just wanted to get your opinion on. Against this last game against Carolina. Seemed like Carolina, that one drive in particular, just running the ball down Dallas's throat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm if the game's still in doubt when they get to 17-10. I mean, it's not in doubt, but it just makes you a little nervous. And I guess my thought is, and I want to get your opinion. If Washington will stick to their game plan, I think they can run the ball against the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
What's Dan Quinn? What do you think he's going to draw up if they choose to do that? Because right now they're still not stopping the run the way they need to. Quinn's always said you earn the right to rush the passer, but if they, unless Washington gets out of that game plan, I think that's a strategy against the Cowboys. I'll hang up and listen to your opinion.
I think the key. Thank you, Rod. I think the key is on offense. I think that's the key. I mean, you got to. That's how you get them out of running the ball is by keep scoring points. I mean, this is a team that is second in the NFL in points scored at 30.2. I think the Cowboys and the Dolphins are the only teams over 30 points a game. That's what you got to do. That's what happened in Carolina. You got to keep scoring points. Now I know that's not always the solution. You'd like to stop the run. You like to do both, obviously. But that's the biggest thing you can do is keep putting up points. And I think there needs to be some discipline there for these pass rushers that are trying to get there, stay home. I mean, the first thing they've got to do is stop the run. I mean, some of these guys are just blowing right past the running back, and not taking the fake and everything like that. So that's the key. I mean, they do have to be better at stopping the run. It starts up there up front. These guys in the middle, these defensive ends. A lot of times Two, they'll put these ends inside. Tank will do it. Dorrance Armstrong will do it. Of course, Micah's in there, and, to try to get the most pass rushers you can have on the field. But that also leaves you, vulnerable for the run. So it's a chess match, and Washington will probably come in here and try to run the ball. But remember, their quarterback leads the league in passing attempts, completions, interceptions, and sacks. So they do throw the ball a lot because they get down. So they try to run the ball, and we'll see if that happens here in this game. All right, Michael in Bowling Green, Kentucky is next. Michael, what's up?
Well, as Nate Newton said, not even worried about the Washington whatevers, but I got a couple moments you were talking about the other day.
Yeah.
One, I know you'll know what year both of them were. I don't remember.
Okay.
One, I think I was like 12 or 13 years old. It was on Thanksgiving. Not a favorite moment. The outcome was, but I remember it very, very well. Dallas was playing Philadelphia. I think Randall Cunningham. He steps back, first series, throws the ball like 100 yards. I'm thinking, nobody catching that. Well, Mike Quick did and got a touchdown. But the rest of the game, Dallas, I don't think Philadelphia scored again. Dallas ended up winning that game. And the other one is the third and forever and backed up on their own goal line. Dallas had 10 players on offense, and Tony Dorsett runs 99 yards.
Okay. Yeah. We were talking about Thanksgiving memories. You're just throwing out memories, which is fine too. But the Thanksgiving memories, since it is Thanksgiving, we talk about that. But yeah, the games you're referring to, 1982 season, the 99-yard touchdown run, and then I believe what you're talking about. I don't think it was Randall Cunningham. I think you're talking about the 1983 game against the Eagles. The Cowboys win 37-7, and I believe Ron Jaworski hit Mike Quick off the bat. Okay. Right off the bat for a touchdown, and then the Cowboys won 37 straight points and beat them 37-7. But yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about the QB, but I knew it was Mike Quick.
Yeah.
But,
I think that's right. 83.
I'm certain you're right. But people call in, they have memories, and then they're kind of wrong, kind of like mine was. The question I got though is this: the linebacker, Shaq
Leonard. Yeah.
Is it 0% chance that we'd be able to get him, or is there any chance?
Oh, I wouldn't say 0% chance, but it's other teams are going to have to, get in there as far as a waiver claim, and they put those claims in, I guess, until 3:00 today. I think that's how that works. I have a hard time thinking that he'll go all the way through to the Cowboys. There's some money involved there. There's about $6 million, I believe, that you have to take on the hook. But I'm sure, this is probably a lot of teams doing their homework, like what's going on with this guy. Because if you're going to make a move like that, it's got to be a long term. It can't just be for this year. So it was very interesting. It's an odd move as well. I'm sure there's a lot of teams that were like, hey, I'll take a young linebacker that's good that we need to pay. So I have a hard time thinking it would get to the Cowboys. But if he does. It would make sense to me. It's a position of need. It's a position you're probably going to draft next year. It's a really good player. Seems like a stand-up player. He gets cut and he goes and delivers turkeys like later that day because he said he was going to do it. That's odd, but that's pretty cool. If that's the story, again, I don't know the whole story of this. I just know really good football player and wants to be paid well, like a lot of them do.
So we'll know this afternoon.
I think so. I think this afternoon he'll get claimed by somebody, I would imagine.
All right, appreciate it.
All right. Got to answer the phones over there. Got phones ringing over here. Got phones ringing back here. All right, let's go to Florida. Dylan is in Northport, Florida. What's up?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I think Bill Bates is like the people's champ, dude. That's the name I keep hearing all the time.
They love him. They love him because, he was – some of these people were faster than him. That's the thing. Football speed. I'll never forget. There was this video somebody did on on Dick Butkus that said if he ran the 40-yard dash, it would take him 3 days. But from sideline to sideline, he was the fastest player on the field. And I think, like Bill Bates, kind of was one of those kind of guys. Probably didn't test really well, like in the 40 and in the pro days and all that kind of stuff. Didn't get drafted on a 15-round draft. Didn't get drafted. But yet, when it was time to go down there and lay it on the line and cover a kickoff or a punt, nobody was faster. I think changed the way the game was too. I mean, he put more emphasis on special teams. He was the first Pro Bowler. Special team player. So, yeah, I mean, he was a difference maker, and, he was the people's champ.
Yeah, for sure, man. And, regarding Shaq Leonard there, the last caller, I got a buddy, he's a Colts fan, pretty smart dude. And, Shaq, injuries have kind of taken his toll. They cut him for a reason, middle of the season. And, hopefully, and it'd be cool if he's able to get here, get past waivers, all that. But I'm nervous that the money he's going to want is going to be too much. It's not going to be worth it. It's more of a name than a key player. But if you can get him cheap enough, it'd be definitely some good depth there. And then I have a question for you. Who does Sounds of the Sideline for you guys? Because this is legit. Yeah.
It's a guy by the name of Alex Lilly. He's been here 4 or 5 years now, maybe 5. And he works in our TV department and but does a lot of things. But yeah, he's very creative with that. Everybody loves the parentheses. That's what makes it. And you gotta be looking for it because it happens so fast. But it's the parentheses for me, and I know a lot of people think it's great. I mean, it's great access.
Coach Dirt, how do you say his name? Dirty. British.
Aiden Dirty. Yeah.
Hysterical. The font gets me every time.
It's legit. And I tell you what, I mean, when it doesn't go up, like right away because he's got so much stuff going on. When it doesn't go up right away, I mean, the fans are they're asking Derek for it. I know I think we just put one out. I think today, right?
Osa was cracking me up, man. Osa's a character. I didn't realize how funny he was.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. And he does. And we make a commitment to it. I mean, we got 2 people on that every game. We got somebody's arms are falling off because they are holding a boom pipe, the boom pole for that long. I mean, it's really tough, but I mean, we commit to it because we know it's really good content and it's one of the best pieces we do. So yeah, that's what we do there, and it also helps to win. Another reason to root for them to win because we don't put it out when they lose.
Yeah, no doubt. Real quick about Washington, the other caller there said that he's nervous they're going to run the ball. They definitely can run the ball if they want to. The problem is they get away from it all the time because their defense is so bad. They're like 4th in the league in sacks, but they obviously just lost a couple key pieces there with trades. So I don't know if that number is really accurate or not. But yeah, they get down quick. So Sam, and I like watching Sam Howell play. Man, he's gutsy, he's gritty, but he likes to throw the ball to the other team too. So should be a fun game. I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think. The stats indicate that it shouldn't, but I think it's going to end up being a closer game. And I'm going to go 24-17 Cowboys will be my final score for that one.
Cool. That seems like the score I'm going with. I mean, that seems like the halftime score for me because I'm going with a lot of perts in this game. There's going to be some points. I just feel like, and I do think Washington will come in here and play well. I think that happens a lot on Thanksgiving. Cowboys haven't had a ton of success here at AT&T Stadium. Haven't won 2 in a row at AT&T Stadium on Thanksgiving. So last time they did that, it was Texas Stadium. So they definitely need to step it up, win this game to get to 8-3. Is that right? 8-3. That would be big if they could do that. But they're gonna have to move the ball and score points on offense and stop that run and get them out of doing what they want to do and run the ball. All right, let's go to Sebastian in Savannah, Georgia. Sebastian.
Good morning.
What's up?
This Washington team, I watched all their games. They're very, very inconsistent, but they're not a bad team. Right. It makes no sense. They play great teams to the buzzer.
They're weird.
And then they get smacked by teams that are lesser than them. Like they lost by 20 to the Bears, and they gave up 6 turnovers to the Giants this previous week. But this isn't a bad team. And one thing they do well that we have a weakness against is they actually run the ball well, and they get the ball to the running backs well. They have weapons. It's very confusing how they have so many weapons. Even after giving away the defensive weapons that they did during the trading, they're still playing really well on defense. That's probably the better part of their team. So we need to come in here and just get it done. And then as fans, we got to just give it to the Eagles. They're playing very well. It's amazing how they just managed to come out with all these wins. They're 9-1. We got to respect them until we can beat them. Yeah. When they come here to our house, I'd love to beat them then, but more importantly, I want to beat them in the playoffs. So I don't care what happens next time. I want to beat these guys in the playoffs. I want to beat these big teams in the big games at the end of the year when it's everything on the line.
Right.
Other than that, we're like 8-2 against them in the Thanksgiving Day games. I don't see this changing, so I'm going to give my score prediction. I think we get out of there 31-17. I do think that they score because they move the ball. Sam Howell he's not a guy who gives up. He moves the ball pretty well. And then that's it. Real quick, what are some of your favorite Thanksgiving Day game memories?
Yeah.
And I'll hang up and listen.
All right, Sebastian, appreciate that. Good stuff. Let's go to break. Let's go to break real quick since we have an open phone line. Let's go to break. I got some memories. I'll share them, and we got another caller on the line. We'll be right back here on Cowboys Storyline.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Cowboys fans, after that move, we've just coined the term Rowdy Replay. Let's roll back the tape.
Okay, there's our mascot Rowdy cheering on the boys. And now he's on his phone, on his Bank of America mobile banking app?
Staying on top of his finances with his virtual financial assistant, Erica.
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive. Cowboys fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/can't-stop-banking.
Erica is only available in the English language. You must download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Member FDIC.
Welcome back into Dear Doctor, the show where I answer life's questions with an ice-cold can of Dr. Pepper. Sheila, let's hear from our next caller, would you?
Dear Doctor, my friend supported me during a tough time, but what's the right gift that says, thanks for being a shoulder to cry on?
Okay, this one's easy. I say give her a delicious Dr. Pepper. Nothing says, thanks, girl, better than a one-of-a-kind soda. Yes, any Dr. Pepper flavor will do. Now, just a reminder that I don't need to be a real doctor to know that Dr. Pepper is the one you deserve.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
All right. Hey, Chris, we're back here on Cowboys Storyline. I'm bringing Brian Broadus in real quick. I know that messes up your – there you go. You got this thing going. We did some memories. We're doing Thanksgiving memories, and I was about to throw out 3 or 4 here. But Broadus comes in, and he goes, yeah. I go, you got one? He goes, yeah, 74. I'm like, yeah, 74, of course, yeah. Clint Longley. But how was that pass, Brian?
Never saw it. And I'll tell you what, there's 2 things that have happened in my life now. I missed the Garcia home run, and I was at the game.
Oh, you were at game 1.
Yeah,
one.
Yeah, the game that
Rangers
Seager.
Yeah,
and then
did you see that?
No, I went to the car because I listened to Rangers baseball, and I felt superstitious, and so
Well, you probably helped them then. Maybe you helped them.
Yeah, I did, but it broke a rule that I had Thanksgiving Day of 1974. And that was, I left early. My grandmother and I went to the game together. And our family was in the restaurant business. And Morton's Foods was a group that had a bus that used to go to Old Texas Stadium. So if you bought product from them, you could ride this bus to Texas Stadium. And it so happened, it was one of those things. Staubach gets knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
We're sitting there kind of like, oh no, what's going on? It's cold. My grandmother goes, what do you think? And I'm like, well, let's just go. We'll get early. We'll go get on the bus. And nobody's getting on the bus. And then the next thing you know, everybody comes from the game and like, what happened? Clint Longley threw it to Drew Pearson. And I'm like, and I said, never again. And then I just broke that promise. I used to never leave games early, never. But I had a lot of Thanksgiving memories because a season ticket holder for 20 years at Texas Stadium, and have a lot of memories of coming to Green Bay, coming to the Packers, and Jason Garrett.
That's the game I had written down for me because
anything you want to say about Green Bay was bad that day.
Well, the thing about that was
couldn't cover anybody.
You didn't. You didn't have the internet, and so you didn't, I was in college, and so Thursday comes quick, and then you're like, wait, Aikman's out and Pete's out? Who's this? And oh man. And it was just as bad. The first half was like, this isn't good. But then the second half, it was just bombs away.
It was crazy. And
you were down on the sideline?
I was on the sidelines.
Yeah,
for Green Bay. Came here a lot of times and left here. But yeah, a lot of Thanksgiving memories. The one I wasn't a part of, I'm sure you're going to talk about the Leon Lett game.
Yeah, it's been mentioned a lot. I mean, yesterday
with the sleet storm and all that stuff like that. Crazy how that all happened.
Just weird. And it's too bad too because the Kevin Williams punt return where he he's sliding in. That was pretty cool. But it was everything is just remembered from the Leon game.
I know you got to do the rest of the show. I do enjoy the work you do, and thank you for always bringing up old. Like I say, I listen to them like, that remember that. As going to games and stuff with the Cowboys. So
that's awesome.
All right, Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll be next after you today.
Yep, you guys are coming up right here. Got a full show here. Last one before the game tomorrow, and so everyone's listening to your report because they're like, this team can run the football. They run the football. Washington, if they run it.
Well, and if they run it, that's the problem. Is will Eric Bieniemy lean on some? If they try and make this a passing game, they can't. The Commanders can't block on the left side.
Right.
The one thing that they really, really struggle with is movement with with a defensive line. And the Cowboys, the way they play their twist fronts, the interchange, the 2-man down, 1-man over the top things, that's a problem for teams to block. But the one thing the Commanders can do is run the ball, and they don't. They don't do it. Brian Robinson's tough, and we'll see how that all plays tomorrow. I think in a short week, you got to give it a chance. I don't know how you look at Dallas's tape and defensively and think, oh yeah, good idea. Let's throw the ball.
Throw it bland.
Throw it bland, especially with a quarterback that loves to throw it to the other team.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of Gibson, a lot of Robinson. All
Thank
right,
you, man. Appreciate
Thanks,
you.
Brian.
Thank
Good
you.
stuff. Brian brought us there. He's like you said, he'll be on the break here. Got some stories, and also don't leave early. Don't leave early. Even though you say that, Brian, you've left a lot of games early in the 9th inning or 8th inning, and it was 12-2, and it ended up being 12-2, and you beat traffic, and it was good. But
that time I shouldn't have left.
Yeah, right. All right. That's Brian Broadus. Good story. Always got some great stories. I mean, I'm going to have him on here again, and he's going to tell the story about when he had to go give tickets for Bill Parcells. That's one of my favorites of all time. All right, good stuff. We got 2 callers on the line here. Steve in New York. So, Steve, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, Nick?
You ever left the game early?
No, never.
No? Okay. Cool.
Never.
I have. I mean, I've done. I don't know if I've been burned like that, but I know I've left some games early. But anyways,
I won't even shut one off. That's 45 years of fan. That's just me.
I shut them off. I'll turn it. Yeah.
That story that Brian was telling was Clint Longley, right?
Yeah.
The strange thing there, he got cut. He sucker punched. I'm sure you know the story. Yeah. Roger Staubach like a year or two later.
Yeah, punched him in the face.
That's just
yeah,
wild. That is just one of the wildest stories.
And he's a mysterious there was never really been stories on him. He just gone. A
footnote. That was the perfect word to describe him. I think in NFL films they called. He was just a footnote in Cowboys history.
That's the thing.
What he was.
He was just the backup quarterback that won that game, and then he also is the guy that hit Roger Staubach in the face, and that'll get you cut. I mean, if you want to find ways to get yourself removed from the team, go punch the All-American quarterback in the face, and then you'll find yourself out. So
exactly. I just wanted to throw this in because I was thinking about this. I know that some people, maybe more than some, get on the quarterback, our quarterback, but if you go back, and I know you remember this period too. Do you know because the Cowboys, think about how great the Cowboys tradition is on Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for 4 straight years, our starting quarterbacks on Thanksgiving were, this is consecutive, Ryan Leaf, Chad Hutchinson, Quincy Carter, and Drew Henson. Not Drew Bledsoe, Drew Henson. Do you remember that?
Well, you could just make 5 in a row and make it Drew Bledsoe, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I like to think, at least.
Oh, because he's too good to fit the narrative here. I get what you're doing. Yeah.
A little bit. But
that was 2001 to 2004.
I think so, yeah. I think you're right.
What are the records in these games here? I mean, they lost to Denver. Ryan Leaf game in 01 lost to Denver. 02 was Chad. They won that game.
They won that game, and they lost to the Dolphins, I believe.
In 03 with Quincy, and then won in 04. So
they won in 04, but he pulled, I think, Parcells.
He pulled him. That's right. Vinny Testaverde finished that game. Yeah, because Henson threw a touchdown pass to R.W. McQuarters, who doesn't play for the Cowboys. So, yeah, that changed. Yeah.
Exactly.
Others, the other storyline of that game, that 04 game against the Bears. Do you remember that one?
I'm sure if you mentioned it, what?
It was the starting running backs were brothers. Thomas Jones for the Bears and Julius Jones for the Cowboys. Julius Jones.
He had a nice touchdown that game, I think.
Yeah, he did.
If I'm remembering.
He did. Had a nice little 40-yard run, whatever. Yeah, I remember. That was a cool game.
It was.
A lot of stories. Got some
stories. Just real quick, my random player is Reggie Swinton, only because I remember on Thanksgiving a punt return and a backflip, which I pretty much think he did after every touchdown. He only scored a few.
I loved Reggie Swinton. Yeah, I love that's a great one. Great name right there. Reggie Swinton. Loved Reggie Swinton. He was awesome. Yep, he did.
And just my pick is going to be 31-16.
Okay.
Not a blowout, only because I've seen too many weird things happen on Thanksgiving.
Fair. That's fair.
Washington.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody have a great holiday there, man.
All right. Thank you. Good stuff. A lot of good names there. All right. Let's keep it rolling. Jeff in Maryland is next. Jeff?
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too. How are you?
I am living the dream. I'm a first-time caller.
Ding.
You've read? Yeah.
There we go.
That's what I wanted. Thank you, Chris. So I've been a fan so long that I used to get the Dallas Cowboys official weekly delivered to my home here in Maryland. And one time it talked about this new website, DallasCowboys.com, and I've been hooked ever since.
Wait, hold on. The weekly mentioned the website?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, it was back when the internet first came out. It had www.dallascowboys.com.
That's interesting.
And ever since then, I listen to every podcast. I watch every video. I read every article. That's just where I go. I don't go anywhere else for any information about the Cowboys. And
we appreciate that.
I wasn't able to listen while I was holding, so I don't know if I'm totally off topic. But I'm thankful for Jerry Jones because I'll tell you what, I'm worried about Washington being competitive in the future because Dan Snyder's no longer the owner. Because while he was the owner, they weren't going anywhere.
Right.
And so that was my question. You've read my text before. I send you questions. So favorite Cowboy Staubach, throwback Doug Cosby, random Demetrius Underwood, wrestler Bruno Sammartino.
Okay.
And so my question was, is Dan Snyder just the worst owner in the history of the NFL, or was he only the worst owner while he owned the Cowboys? I mean, the Commanders.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't rank the other owners and things like that. I kind of like the fact that, they were a show for sure. I mean, they weren't, they'll be better than that, and probably be competitive, and and think about what they're doing. They're making trades. They're getting more draft picks. That it's not going to be a Herschel Walker type thing, but they traded Sweat, they traded Chase Young. They're adding some draft picks here. So I would expect them to be pretty competitive here at some point.
Right. Yeah. And the other thing, like the stadium, like if you ever been to the stadium that Washington plays at, it's just it's turning into a sinkhole. Like I've been to A&T Stadium, and it's just like I went to the game one night and then went to the tour the next day, and you could not tell that a game had been played there the night before.
Yeah.
It was just so clean, and it's brand new, and it's beautiful, and I know Jerry's always updating it and improving it. And, So this Thanksgiving, I'm thankful for God, my family, the Dallas Cowboys, and Jerry Jones.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. When you were on hold, nobody else said that. I can promise you that. So yeah, or ever. So that's awesome.
Hey, and it doesn't matter if they lose. I love them. It doesn't matter. And if you're a Cowboy, I love you. And so I totally, and the draft class is going to be just fine. They just need time to develop. So.
Awesome.
Anyway, you have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking my call.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Yeah, no one has said, God, family, and Cowboys, Jerry, or Demetrius Underwood for that matter. So good stuff. All right, Robbie in Florida, you're next.
What's up?
Hey, Robbie.
Hey, man, sorry I cut you off about a week ago. Phone died.
Oh, that's okay. We've slept well since then. We've forgiven you. Yeah, I don't even remember that, honestly. We have all kinds. We have some issues every now and again. Didn't even notice. Robbie, what you got though? Don't cut us off today.
I won't. Favorite wrestler, Jake the Snake.
Yes. Named my kid after that. Yeah.
Did you?
Well, his name is Jacob. We call him Jake the Snake. I mean, yeah, my buddy Chris definitely calls him Jake the Snake. So for sure, he's afraid of snakes, but aren't we all? But yeah, he likes them.
All right, favorite Cowboy. Can I tell a real quick story?
Go for it.
It might have been 81 or 82, and Randy White was at this pro-amateur tennis thing in Miami Beach, where I grew up.
Okay.
And I met him, and I was watching the water, and he came up and said, "Hey, why aren't you watching tennis?" I said, I don't really like sports. I like to fish. And he's like, "I love to fish." And he talked to me for about 45 minutes about fishing until people came and got him and said, "Hey, son, if you ever like sports and like football, like the Dallas Cowboys, I'm Randy White, the man, sir." And it was just so cool and down to earth. Talked about bass. Wow. I've been with Randy White, number one.
That is the most random story of all time, because I wonder how much money it took to get Randy White down there for a tennis thing. And then, of course, he obviously wasn't caring because he trickles off here and now he wants to do fishing and then football. And an interesting story. Cool. All right.
Pretty cool. I'm just thankful for everything you guys do, man. I love this guy's show. I always tell you that.
Thank you.
Score prediction is, I think it's going to be closer than we'd like, 24-21.
24-21.
I think the Commanders always put up a tough game. Interdivision match is always tough.
Yeah.
Glad to see our getting some feet.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I'm looking here on NFL Network. They're showing the Clint Longley pass here. It was a great play. Pearson caught it. Hey, Broadus, Pearson caught it. He caught it. They win. So, yeah.
Missed that.
All right, Rob, you got anything else?
Nah, man, have a great Thanksgiving. Let's hope we win, man. We'll talk to you next week sometime.
All right. See you later. All right. They're showing highlights of memorable Thanksgiving Day games. And, this will be 98. It was my first Thanksgiving to cover the Cowboys, and it was the Randy Moss game. And the first touchdown of the game was a flea flicker. Gave it to Robert Smith, pitched it back, flea flicker, touchdown. It was one of three. Randy, they only held Randy to 3 catches that game. They only had 3 catches. Of course, they were all touchdowns, and they were all over 50 yards. But other than that, they held him in check pretty good. It was a wild, crazy game. It's one of my favorites that I can remember to cover for the Cowboys. It was the first one. But that's some others over the years. Just remember, I'll tell you a quick story real quick. We living in Oklahoma, 1988, and we were driving down to Dallas for the weekend for Thanksgiving. We had tickets to the game, and we got about an hour down the road and realized we did not have the tickets. The tickets were sitting on the kitchen table. This is obviously way before phones and everything's on your phone and all that. No, you have to have your damn ticket. And we turned the car around, and we got the tickets. I don't know how far we would have been, whether we would have said, nah, forget it. But we went and got the ticket, came back, and watched the Cowboys play the Houston Oilers, and they lost. It was a close game, but they lost. And that was during the 3-13 season. But, yeah, we almost missed it because we left the tickets on the table. But we were able to watch it. And then I was there the next year for the Bounty Bowl, Cowboys and Eagles in that game. So, good stuff. All right, Chad in Utah is our next caller. Chad, what's up? Chad?
Hey, long-time listener, first-time caller.
First time. That's right. I haven't written down Utah that many times, so pretty awesome. Chad in Utah, first time. How you doing?
So I'm doing good, man. Hey, Nick, great show. Listen, Cowboys player, and I don't know if anybody said this guy yet, but it's a disservice if they haven't. If I missed it, I apologize. But DeMarcus Ware, man, like consummate professional, one of the best players to ever do it at his position. Got to send some love out to D. Ware.
I mean, he's gone into the Ring of Honor this year, the Hall of Fame. He's got a football life this year. He's got another documentary we did on him. I mean, he gets mentioned. He's getting mentioned. This is random players. Random.
Yeah,
no,
right. But I'm saying on
that's
your
your guy?
show, on your show as a favorite player, I haven't heard anybody call in and give D. Ware the love.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. You know, he was great. What else you got?
Another Cowboy that kind of gets floated under the radar that I wanted to send a shout out to.
Don't say Emmitt Smith, okay? Don't say Emmitt Smith.
No, Dexter Coakley.
Coakley. Love it. Yeah.
And then my prediction for the weekend, for tomorrow, I got 31-14, and Dak's wearing his ball cap by the fourth quarter again. So I'll let you go. Great show, Nick.
Nice. I don't know if 31-14 will put Dak in the ball cap. Maybe. I mean, that's still, everyone's got 31 here. I've got the Cowboys scoring a lot more than that. Dexter Coakley, interesting story there. I know we're running close on time here. We got one more caller to get. Dexter Coakley, though, is the prime example of if you want to make the Pro Bowl, play well in this game. Because he was a good player, and he's made some plays. But the 99 game, that's one of my favorites also on Thanksgiving. Jimmy Johnson's in town. Jimmy Johnson's coaching the Dolphins. Cowboys get 5 interceptions on Dan Marino. Shut him out, 20-0. 2 of those interceptions were Dexter Coakley. One of them he returned for a touchdown. And after that game, it was, okay, this guy needs to be in the Pro Bowl. And he did. He makes the Pro Bowl, and I think he made it 2 other times. But they had 5 picks that day. Coakley had 2. Dion had 2. Don't remember the other one. Rocket Ismail with a long touchdown. It was a lot of fun there. That game was really cool. They beat the Dolphins 20-0. All right, Chris in San Angelo, Texas. You'll probably be our last caller. Chris, what's up?
Hey, I'm doing well. Good to talk to you, Nick.
Yeah.
I just had a memory, and I know it's one that hadn't been talked about yet. Not my favorite one, but it's one I remember is the Leon Lett trying to recover the fumble.
Yeah.
That wasn't a fumble, actually.
Yeah.
And then as far as something that I'm actually thankful for, I'm actually thankful for y'all's podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Because quick story behind that. My dad, he passed away about 3 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And before that happened, like the last 2 years of his life, he was getting a lot of bad news. I kind of turned him on to the podcast that y'all had there.
Really?
And so he started watching them like every day. And so that gave us, with me, whenever I called them, it wasn't all like bad news. It was like, hey, did you see Nick and Derek on the break? Yeah. It's like, and so it gave us a little escape from, the otherwise bad news. So I appreciate that. And my score prediction, I think it's going to be kind of close. I think probably Cowboys 31-24.
31. All right. That's great, Chris, and I appreciate the call and appreciate the story there. Sometimes you forget that. You forget kind of what's on the other side. You're just sitting in a room here and you have a headset on and you're talking to people or talking to fans or whatever, but you kind of forget who you're reaching to and what's going on in their life and also and I think it's a good thing too because that's where you get the real stuff. You're not even worried about what you're saying or what you're doing. You're just kind of talking. You're talking football, and I think that's what people appreciate. But it's great to hear stories like that. Not the ending, of course, of that story, but that's a touching one, especially here this week, Thanksgiving, when it's all about family, and to be able to do that, and when you don't even expect it, it means a lot for you to say that, and I hope. Again, we don't think about that kind of stuff. You don't think talking football and all that can have that kind of effect, but sometimes it's just anything. It's anything positive to take your mind off of good news, bad news or good news or whatever. Just kind of puts things in perspective. So I know I'm rambling there, but that one kind of hits home with me a lot there. So I appreciate the call there. That's a great one to end on, and it's a great segue for me to say Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. This has been a really, really fun show that I've been able to do here. Starting this training camp, and I feel like it's getting better and better. I enjoy it. It's my favorite part of the day to be able to talk to you guys and tell stories and hear your stories and just talk football. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody and their families. We appreciate all the calls today. That last caller from San Angelo, Texas, was the first call from Texas here today. Usually we have a ton. We didn't. We have Virginia and Florida with 2 each. But that's a perfect example, you guys spreading the love from all over the country here, America's team, and sometimes beyond that as well. So happy Thanksgiving. We will be back on Monday. We'll be off the Thursday and Friday of this week. We'll be back Monday. We'll be talking about the Cowboys in Washington, but also another game coming up here with Seattle in a few days. So we're going to have to squeeze that in as well. So for Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. Happy Thanksgiving. We will see you guys on Monday at Cowboys Storyline.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!